with the gang, but I really don't like Facebook. And I decided, well, you know, maybe it's better that I just share that. I personally don't like Facebook for me. And I know that that is a popular feeling among maybe some of you, that it's just not a great thing. And in fact, science has really clearly showed us it's a great way to be depressed, right? Yeah. You go on Facebook, you see other people living their lives and they're going on vacation and whatnot, and you're at home eating grilled cheese, right? So anyway, we show you this thing. By the way, my name is Dan. I like to keep it pretty informal, so during the whole thing, just kind of shout out if you got questions or whatnot. So we've got 30 minutes to rush through this whole thing. So let me show you this real quick. This is pretty incredible. I was invited a while back to participate in a special rollout for a new Facebook feature called Facebook Recommendations. What is this? Well, what it turns out is Facebook is going to start monitoring everything people type. They already do this, but they're going to be looking for keywords in those posts that you make. And if Facebook decides that they're looking for a recommendation, if you're like, hey, where's a great restaurant in Grants Pass? Facebook is going to recognize that you're looking for something, and then it's going to ask your friends to start making recommendations. So this is what it looks like. Let me show you this real quick. This is Facebook telling the story.
With Facebook, all the people you turn to and the info you need is all in one place, making it easier to get things done, so you can spend more time each day doing what matters to you. Get tips from friends about local spots around you, and because the information comes from people you already know, you can trust it right from the start. See what's going on near you, and find things to do with friends on any day. Who knows? Maybe the thing you didn't know you wanted to do could make your week. Some days, you find yourself running a little behind, but you can get the latest from your go-to spots. Cross one more thing off that to-do list, and get ahead of the day, leaving you more time to connect with the things that matter to you.
Alright, so enough plug for Facebook. But I show you that because this is brand new. They've only started releasing it this past week. So if you haven't seen this yet, you're going to start. But we've been working on it for a little while. And I assure you that this is going to get really important because there's a piece of it that they haven't really started talking about. One of those pieces is this. This morning I was like, hey Josh, for our presentation today, can you give me a recommendation for a restaurant in Grants Pass, like I said before? And he did that, and Facebook started automatically identifying that I was asking for a recommendation, built me a map on the fly, and started plugging in different kinds of options with star ratings, right? Think about these star ratings. This is something that's going to be a theme throughout the entire day. So Facebook is building this for me, and it's asking me to add a location. So I'm going to do that, and Facebook is going to start making better recommendations over and over again, okay? Here is the thing. Notice that these businesses right here, these are hot links back to their Facebook pages, right? Where you'll have other options to engage with that brand. Here's the thing that they're not talking about that you need to know about. If you do not have a page for recommendations, because business services, including realtors, are going to be part of this recommendation service, if you do not have a page, Facebook is going to make one for you. If Facebook makes that page for you, guess who doesn't have control of it? You, right? So this is not a presentation to say, hey, I really think you should use Facebook. It's really a presentation of, hey, you're going to have to use Facebook whether you like it or not, if you want to protect your own brand, if you want to protect your own reputation, if you want to be leading that charge. And it gets even deeper than this. I'm going to show you something that only probably less than 500 people in the country know about. And it's really, really, really ridiculously important for you to understand what I'm going to show you, because it's even more important than this recommendations feature. This recommendations feature is actually only built to feed another algorithm, to feed another service that Facebook has not yet released, that we've been playing around with. We've been part of a kind of a beta on the whole thing. And it's going to really impact you. Who is aware of Yelp? Right, everybody, okay. So, and you're maybe aware, you may be not aware, that Yelp is populated by a bunch of blackmailers and other unsavory characters who want you to pay to manage your own brand on Yelp, right? Well, that's how Yelp makes their money, and I am not aware of a single person on the face of the planet, maybe Scott, who likes Yelp, because they take advantage of everyone, knowing that they're holding your reputation hostage, knowing how these star systems are really the word of mouth digital that we all need to protect our reputations and be in charge of that. Well, Facebook, being the gajillion-pound gorilla in the digital space that it is, has decided that just like Snapchat and just like other messaging apps that they just buy up and / or destroy when they want to take over, they've decided they're going to target Yelp. And this is probably the coolest thing I'm going to show you. This is going to be a map that you can never get away from. This is going to follow you on Facebook of all the recommendations that were ever made to you or about you. So that's the cool piece. This is, come on in. This is Facebook services. No one knows that this exists just yet. If you go to facebook.com/services, you're going to come to this page. This is to be unleashed any day, really. They kept on saying that it was going to be over the summer, but it's been delayed. They've been working on it for a long time. And this is going to be the slayer of Yelp. And we have every reason to believe that Facebook is certainly capable of slaying Yelp. If Yelp doesn't want to sell, they'll just do what Yelp does, and they'll do it better, and they'll do it for free. And here's why this is important. Let's just do an experiment. I apologize to anyone I may offend here.
Too late.
No, I knew it. Real estate. Let me get on this real quick. Turn on Wi-Fi. What's the
Yeah, just public.
this one?
BK.
Check this out.
There is no password for the Wi-Fi, by the way. If you have trouble logging in.
Let's see if we can get this to work. Real estate agents in Medford. Here is Facebook services. And I want you to notice what happens here. There's a lot going on here that maybe you don't grasp at the blink of an eye, but I'll point it out to you. All of this stuff is going to be dictated by, these rankings are going to be influenced by all those recommendations that I just told you about, and a bunch of other key metrics that I'm going to show you so that you can make sure you have a business page and you can make sure that you're using it the correct way to make sure that you rank. Because watch what happens here. There is no page 2. You don't have an option to move along. That means if you don't show up here in the first 10 returns, you don't show up at all. Now they keep on changing this interface a little bit, but they've kind of shown their hand early on. At the top of this page, it used to say best restaurants, best realtors, best plumbers, and they rank them number 1, number 2. So this is unlike Yelp in that Facebook is saying this is absolutely what your friends and what objective star reviews and so on and so forth are recommending. Statistically, if you're not above the fold, you're already kind of in a bad spot, so to speak. 60% of clicks are going through all these things above the
Does
fold.
this have to do with how many times they post? Like Coldwell Banker posts those?
I'm going to tell you. I'm going to make sure. That's the whole point of this whole thing. I'm going to show you what you need to do to optimize your pages to appear here for when there's the big turnover. Okay. So these are dictated by certain metrics on your pages. And again, if you don't have a page, Facebook's happy to make one for you, and they're gonna do that, and you'll have no influence over this stuff, where people will be turning their attention. Yes, sir?
So, got a personal page, it makes sense to tie a business page to that personal.
You absolutely have to. The bottom line is, if we're gonna return to the main theme, it's great that you have a personal page. There's lots of reasons to have a personal page. There's a great argument to maintain your personal page, and maybe even a public group that you can maintain on top of that. We do that at Moving Mountains, but you're gonna have to have a professional profile as well. Continuing on, all these features, the prices, all these things are gonna be filtered by the way you set up your page. So if you don't have your page set up correctly, you're gonna get filtered right out. Any questions about this so far?
How do they get this right now? They haven't even put this out, how do?
I'm gonna show you. Recommendations are starting to feed it already, but the ever important, you know what, I've got one of these fancy things, I've never used one of these before, check this out. Alright, boom. So, this right here, these star ratings right here that we talk about, this is a big part of it. It's not all of it. There are optimization tips that will allow you to manipulate where, and that's probably the unsavory word, but to manipulate where your page sits. So, check this out, moving on. Number one, I'm just gonna get into some of the things that you need to do. If you do not have a pro page, a professional page, when you set one up, why did I do this? When you set one up, you need to set it up as a local business workplace. That's step one. How am I doing on time? I'm gonna run out of time, huh? So if you do any one of these other things, you will not have the option to optimize your page for services. And in some instances, you will not have access to star reviews at all. So be sure that when you set it up that way. If you've already set up a pro page, who has? Who has one? Okay. Who has it already set up with this category? Couple? You? Good.
You're good on time, Dan, by the way.
I'm good? Okay. So if you don't, you need to change it. It's just really that simple. So go back and adjust your category, which you can do behind the scenes. Any questions on this? Yes, sir.
So when you pull that up, you only get the one that go on that one page and they change it.
Mm-hmm.
I pulled it up, but I got pages that go on forever.
You've got pages that go on forever?
1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 1, 1, 5, 5.
Oh, yeah. So that's an interesting thing. It's a different interface. So you should know this as well. We monitor this and been playing with this for a few months, since the last winter. And it changes almost weekly. So I wouldn't be surprised if we continue to see changes, anomalies, different kinds of deliveries. Yeah, Travis.
Facebook is running like 10,000 versions at any given time.
10,000 versions. So there's lots and lots of split testing that Facebook does to get down to its final version. And if you are familiar with Facebook at all, if you use it personally, you know that there's a new feature that pops up on your personal stuff nearly every single day. So we're gonna see anomalies as you go along. You could log in tomorrow and try this out and it could totally change. Or our logins could deliver different kinds of information. Any other questions about this piece right here? This is all gonna be very simple for you. It's kind of step by step. I wanna make sure it's actionable. News you can use. Thank you. News you can use.
Tough crowd, man. Gee, front row.
So I wanted to provide an example of a professional page and point out a few elements that are going to be important to you to understand. If you don't understand these things, you're already at a disadvantage. One of the additional things that you need to optimize for, if you want to push your page, that you're gonna have to have one way or the other, you're gonna have to verify your page. You see that little check mark right there? If you don't have one of those handy dandy little check marks, that means you're not verified.
Would you show that again where it is? I can't.
Right here.
Okay.
So that little check mark is an acknowledgement by Facebook that you've jumped through a hoop to demonstrate that you're a real person with a real business with a real address, okay? And they're gonna ask you for this information. I'm gonna show you how to verify your page in a second. But check that out, make sure that you have that, and if you don't, I'm gonna show you here shortly how to turn it on. The other piece that is critically important for returns, for how Facebook measures quality, because Facebook's great desire is to create the digital version of a brick and mortar experience, right? So they want to ensure that they're recommending the highest quality business services that they can. What that means is they want to make sure that you're taking care of your customer, that you're good at customer service. So here's the bad part. You're going to be forced into having a Facebook page. It's not going to really be your choice, and you're going to actually have to engage with it. It won't be good enough to just kind of have it and walk away from it because of this right here. This part, where am I looking? Right here. This 100% response rate, right here. There's a little badge. This turns green when you do what Facebook wants you to do, okay? And when that badge turns green, that means that you're going to be recommended more often when you do a Facebook search. So if you ever use the search function on Facebook, or perhaps you're using Facebook services, or perhaps you're using recommendations, Facebook is going to read this as another indicator that you're running a quality operation. Well, how in the heck do you turn it on? Let me show you. It's kind of a drag. Okay, right here. Let me read it for you if you can't read that. Turn on the badge by responding to 90% of messages with an average response time of 15 minutes.
No problem.
So like of the things that come to us?
Not posts, not on the timeline, the private messages. When you operate a pro page, right here, this part right here,
Oh,
when you get messages, that's a direct inquiry to you for me. I'm bypassing all this timeline stuff, and I'm going right to you. And I say, hey, do you have anything available for me, blah, blah, blah. And I'm waiting to hear from you. And if you don't respond to me within 15 minutes, ding, you get a knock against you, okay? Note that this is a rolling 7-day measurement. So if you screw up, which I do frequently, or my wife, she runs a pro page as well. If we screw up and we miss it and all of a sudden our badge gets turned off, don't be forlorn. Because that, after 7 days, that's gonna fall off and you've got a brand new, fresh skin. Oh, look it, thank you, Caleb. So, know that this is dictated by this. You have options to turn on autoresponders and whatnot for messages. Hey, thanks for messaging me, I'll get right back to you. But guess what? Facebook doesn't count that. An autoresponder will not protect you from getting your badge of your little smiley face turned on.
And do your messages come through Messenger?
Yes.
That's important to the counting.
Yes, and there's another, I'm gonna show you another app that you'll all want to download, because if you don't have it, you're gonna want it. It's gonna help you manage your Facebook presence that much better, okay? Any questions about this badge? You're really being kind of coerced into engaging with Facebook. And I'm gonna have another program later in the afternoon. It's gonna tell you more about why you really want to anyway, okay? Any questions on this? Yes, ma'am.
So I do a lot of my Facebook work, at least on my personal page, and I admit I haven't done much with my business page, but I do a lot of it on my phone.
Yes.
This looks more like you're on a computer rather than a phone. Can most of this be done on a phone, or do I need to get on Facebook on my laptop?
Most of it can be done on your phone. I'll spill the beans right now. If you do not have this app for your phone, write it down or download it right now. This app is called Pages. So if you search for Pages or Facebook Pages in your app store, you're gonna find it right away. It's gonna ask you to link to your personal profile, and then you'll be able to manage any pro pages that are under your control.
Yeah, can you please go on to maybe your app store and show them the right app if you can, because there's a few different pages and they might get confused a little bit.
It looks, it's like orange with a pencil.
Yeah, it's
Yes, orange with the flag.
Oh.
I'm not gonna be able to do it on my computer.
Alright, no problem.
Should you set up your business page first before you download the app and connect everything?
Yes, set everything up, then download the app. It's much easier that way. It's a great recommendation. So, I think this qualifies as news you can use, Scott. This is an action item. Look at, we've already got a win, and it's not even 9:30 yet. All right. There was another hand up back here.
Yeah,
You-
I was similar question, because I'm on my iPad right now, and it looks totally different. I don't have any of these things on.
Okay. Any of these things
Yeah, I don't have the
Do you-
opposite sign.
on your pro page?
Yeah. I mean, I don't see any of that.
an orange flag frequently?
It says Facebook Pages Manager. It's the
Facebook
name
Pages
of
Manager?
the app.
Cool, Facebook Pages Manager. Perfect, so the Wi-Fi is about to crash, so.
Will this be in addition to Messenger?
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
Alright.
So, I'm sorry?
Why do we need Facebook?
In order to manage your pro page, in order to use it on your mobile device, you're gonna need it. And if you follow any of the statistics at all, you know that the vast preponderance of people using the web, and especially using Facebook, are using it mobily. Yes.
I don't want our time to run out before you tell us what the metrics are.
Okay,
Please.
we'll get right into it. Keeping me on, I've got 10 minutes, right? Yep. All right, here we go. So, number one, you need to get into the About section of your page, okay? It's right over here. So you'll build your page, you put pretty pictures on it, and you'll create it as a local business. Then you're gonna get back here to your About. And you're gonna make sure that you have all of this information filled out correctly. Anything that you leave out will be subject to the filters that Facebook's employed on their services page. So make sure things like parking, things like price range, things like your email address, your hours of operation, all very important for that filtering system. But here's the trick. We're part of several professional groups that study this sort of thing, and there are 3 things that you must do in order to fully optimize this page for ranking on services. Number 1, you gotta make sure that your category is correct. That this category is what you need it to be. So it's gotta be a real estate agent. Make sure that that's what that says. Number 2, this is an important part of this whole thing, is that in the short description, you need to have the name of your business and where you're located.
Where are you talking about on there?
Right here, the
Okay.
short description piece. Make sure that you have the name of your business and where it's located, the city that you're located in.
Not address.
Yes, yeah, we're gonna, I'm gonna jump in right now and say, if you missed this or any part of it, feel free to jump onto our website, go to our contact form, and just let me know, and I will send you the entire presentation so that you can have it at your disposal.
We're also recording it, so we'll have the video.
Oh, we're recording as well, so you can watch the video over and over. Kill it. Okay, so, you had a question? Question?
Are we putting the name of our business as in our office? Because if we put, Gateway, then and everyone's doing Gateway, how is that gonna affect whether it pulls us up or other
You're
agents in
probably
the
gonna
office?
put your agent name and then the company, if you're trying to brand yourself personally.
Yeah.
That's
So
good.
under name of business, it's already.
Yes, and this short description, you wanna make sure that you don't waste your time with too much flowery prose. You wanna make sure that you have the keywords in it that are going to help trigger the return on services and recommendation. So, number 3 is you want that same verbiage in your long description as well. So, it's name and its location, city location. So make sure that you've got your verification, which I'll show you here in a second. And you've got these 3 elements dialed on your About. So, this is the actual directions on how to get that badge turned on. 90% response rate, 15% or 15-minute response time, rolling 7-day period. How do you verify your page? This part can be a little bit clumsy sometimes because it doesn't always go the way you want it. We've had several experiences where we've had to do it the hard way. But you'll go to settings on the top of your page. This is where you break out your phones, take a picture of the screen, or send me an email at contact us on our website, what have you. But there's step-by-step instructions on how to verify. Do not be discouraged if you do not get this 4-digit verification right away. There are instances where you're going to have to send in like a copy of a utility bill that demonstrates you've got an actual place of business, okay? So don't be alarmed when Facebook asks you to do this potentially. It happens all the time. Because again, they're trying to protect their reputation and their recommendations.
It might be a little challenging
So there may be some hoops. If you have trouble with that, please contact us and we'll help you out. Okay? All right. Very rapidly running out of time. All right. So I want to point out a couple of things here for you that you absolutely must do to assist yourself, okay? You need to make sure that your page is verified. This is in the settings section of your Facebook page. Make sure that it's verified. Make sure that anyone can review. Sometimes people have this turned off and it's only harming you. So make sure that anyone can review. There's a little trick right here that you absolutely need to go through. I know I've said that a lot. I'm using a word that I never really use, absolutely, with that real emphasis. Absolutely. Audience optimization. Organic reach on Facebook pro page is down about 2.5%, right? So every 100 people you got, only 2.5 people are seeing any given post. You can help dictate which 2.5 people see it by turning on this audience optimization. And that's going to give you a new tool that we can talk about in another time because it's a little bit deeper, but for a lot of you, you'll be able to kind of figure out what it's all about. Make sure that you can be tagged. Make sure that people can contact you privately. If you cannot receive messages, then you are probably never going to show up on services ever. And then you want to turn off all the things that limit you. I know a lot of people are concerned about other people posting and they're concerned about profanity. I've worked with literally hundreds of pages and never had a problem with people abusing a page or doing something that was absolutely terrible wrong. So don't be a beard. And then over here, this preferred page audience is an important piece.
Couple minutes.
Okay, I'm almost done. You're going to want to turn this on and set your preferred page audience. What is this going to do? Much like that optimization tool, that targeting tool on the other side of the column, this is going to allow you to inform Facebook what kind of people that you're mostly interested in, who you really want to reach, so that when you make your posts and Facebook is sharing that across the universe, it's going to try its best to help you get to people that you're interested in, okay? The other piece is you're going to want to make sure that you're set up for Instagram ads. You probably know Facebook owns Instagram. So if you're doing any kind of work on Facebook, and I'm going to talk later this afternoon about how to use ads effectively if you want to, you're going to be able to take advantage of Instagram as well. And I'm getting the red light. And this is the last screen. I just want to show this to you. This is just the reviews. These are the ones that are important. You need to take advantage of Facebook services as many reviews as you possibly can. High quality. So that is the last piece, volume and quantity.
How do you get reviews?
You ask for them.
And is there a page where you can go and ask for them?
What I would do, and this is kind of best practices, use your existing network. Every time that you close a deal on your personal page, you just want to drive traffic back to your pro page and say, hey, can you leave me a review? Check it out. And all they have to do is they've just got to click that.
Okay.
Okay, it's going to be at the top. Hey, leave me a review, would you please? Because the more you have and the higher quality you have, that may be the single most important factor to pushing yourself up the rankings on Facebook services and being recommended.
Sorry, where was it?
This is on just on your right here. This is your primary Facebook pro page. You say, hey, would you happen to leave me a review, please? And then right over here, you'll see these reviews. You can view reviews.
So you have to have a book review first. Otherwise, they're just listening to your name.
Correct.
Can you give them links?
No, you have to direct them to reviews.
If you look here, this is always tagged with a /reviews. So you could do that in theory, but you want to use Facebook as an engagement tool. So it's nice to get reviews and you're gonna need them for that page that you have to have anyway, but really you wanna take advantage of the traffic on the main timeline anyway. So just send them to, make a super simple URL, send them to your page, leave me a review. Most people know how to do it, and they'll do it lickety split for you. We've seen a lot of success just with good old fashioned asking nicely.
So these guys are here all day. They're gonna be answering questions at the end of the day in that last hour session. So opportunity. The next session in here is Facebook Live.
Yep. Facebook Live, we're gonna be talking about how to leverage video on Facebook, live video, to maximize your reach. Yeah.
Dan Doug, thank you much.
Thanks, Jen.